were no obvious signs of plastic surgery. To anyone except a man who had spent 20 years of his life studying photographs and sketches and clay simulations of her face and head from every possible angle, in every kind of light, the fat would have made surgery unnecessary. Her eyes were puffed into mongoloid slits. She had developed a deep double chin. She had probably believed that as soon as she reverted to her plain, unglamorous self, the self she had been born with, she would be safe. Unknown, unwanted, an ugly duckling orphan whom nobody wanted to adopt. Her lack of deviousness had betrayed her all her life. Now it had betrayed her again. He sat down opposite her, quite close, crossing one ever-pressed leg over the other, and lit a cigarette, and watched her. If she was conscious of being watched, she didn't show it. She sipped her mimosa, and fiddled with the single gold band on her wedding finger, and occasionally glanced towards the sliding doors which led out to the lawns and the bungalows and the brilliant afternoon sunshine. And once she smiled at a 3-year-old blonde-haired English boy who ran past her calling for his mommy. The sad, indulgent smile that any 56-year-old woman would have given. Childless after 3 marriages, and precluded from marrying again because she was a fugitive from vengeance far more terrible than justice. The cocktail waitress had just come on duty. She came over and asked him what he wanted. He thought about it, and then said, "A bud, and some nuts," mainly because it seemed appropriate to order beer on an occasion like this, kind of dated, a baseball park drink. Maybe it was a nod to Joe DiMaggio. He wondered how she had coped with that, knowing that Joe DiMaggio had so regularly laid roses on that grave in Westwood. He rubbed his eyes and smoked, and the past 20 years came silently crowding into the cocktail lounge, like a coach party of unwelcome ghosts. His name was Henry Friend, and he had started to look for her 2 weeks and 2 days after his 38th birthday. He was now 58, 2 years older than she was. A tall, crumpled, offhand man with eyes that were screwed up in what looked like a permanent headache. He had a bulbous nose, loose wrists, and a funny, dry way of talking that always reminded the people he met of Walter Matthau. His friends had no opinion on the matter because he had no friends. He had an older brother in Bend, Oregon, and that was his only family. He spent his life in hotels, motels, boarding houses, trailer parks, and hostels, and occasionally in the arms of widows or whores or lonely wives, behind the dim-net curtains of mid-Western bedrooms. He smoked Winston, read Playboy and Guns and Ammo, and drove as an affectation a 1969 Ford Thunderbird Landau. He washed his shorts in hotel wash basins with those little sachets of powder they give you, and he talked to himself in hotel mirrors. He had been a mechanic once, which is the polite word for killer. He had probably been the best of his entire generation, but he often wondered after 20 years if he still had it in him. Jack Ruby had once told him, "You can think you're the greatest, but your talent can disappear down the goddamn toilet while you're still washing your goddamned hands." Ha! Jack Ruby. Walter still smiled to himself when he thought what a transparent nom de guerre that had been. Jack Ruby. Ruby Red. Red Jack. After all these years, nobody had twigged. It made you wonder what the FBI were doing for a living, apart from filing their nails and going to Senate cocktail parties to jousting each other for offices with more than one window.